What we were doing, we were originally going to do the show live as it's intended to be done, and what we needed to do then is film it so that people were not in the audience and they were not possibly exposed to the virus. So we devised a way to film it.
With us wearing our mask, it gets very hard when you're in the scene because acting requires a lot of concentration. So if it starts to slip, or if it's like kind of constricting your mouth, which happens a lot, I stumble across my words now. It's hard because you have to pull it up to make sure it doesn't fall off, and no one else gets feels unsafe if it comes off. So it's a lot of stopping, lifting up really quickly while you're talking, and just struggling with that.
Well, it completely altered it. In my case, in a typical, audience participation type show, my job is to build the set, to attend what rehearsals that I need to make sure everything is safe and functioning. This one was a lot different from that because the rehearsals were in fact the shooting schedule.
It's a very different medium. It has very different requirements. Just in terms of projection, if you're working a rehearsal where you want your audience to be heard in the third row of the balcony, you're going to get them to project. But on film, you don't want them to go too loud because you're using boom mics and you have to level the sound out. So sound becomes an issue.
On film, everything is so visible, and on a set where I'm building a house on the stage, I know that if a seam is barely visible, that no one will see it from the audience. You don't have to spend nearly as much time. Whereas this one, you can see every seam, and on 4 16-foot walls, we had to pay so much extra attention to making sure those seams weren't visible.
I think they should see it because it's very sweet. It's two characters connecting. Their personalities are very different. She's very rude, and she has this wall set up where she doesn't want anyone to know anything about her. She likes to hide her feelings. And then he is very sweet. He reads poetry. He wants her to open up to her. And it's a very good story, and it talks about life and death and accepting it, and it helps you think about that too. It helps you realize, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, and it's better to live your life than be afraid of it.
The message the playwright is sending, Lauren Gunderson is sending a message about connection. A connection between each other and how important that is. Maybe that's the only thing we really have. A connection between ourselves and our past. A connection between ourselves and art. A connection between us and our audience, even if it is through film.